Well, hello, hello. Let's get this ball rolling so I don't hold you up any longer than necessary. Your time is valuable and I appreciate you being here. I'm Marcy Schoenborn. If you're not familiar, from ShowFit Nutrition, and my mission is to help people live a better, healthier life. I work really hard to get the best information out there for body healing. And today we're going to talk about diabetes, because nobody has to have type 2 diabetes. And I actually have been in a situation before many times where I've been attacked for saying that. And I'll tell you this one story. So I was invited to a Facebook group. Don't even know who invited me, don't recall. But someone invited me to the group, and I know enough about groups. I run groups that I did not go in and step on toes. Did not go in and act like I'm the expert, even though I do specialize in diabetes. I watched what people were doing, and they were posting what they were eating. And so I posted what I ate one day. And I had so many people say, diabetics can't eat those foods. And I said, well, actually I used these foods to reverse my diabetes. And yes, they can. I had people in this group jump on me like red ants, attacking me, telling me you can't reverse diabetes and you shouldn't be telling people you can. And it was absolutely insane. And so I reached out to the person who runs the group, and I apologized. And I said, I don't know who added me. I simply said this happened. I apologize. I didn't mean for it to turn out this way. And her response was, well, you can't reverse diabetes. You shouldn't be telling people that. I'm a nurse. And I said, well, then how come I reverse my diabetes? And how come my clients are reversing diabetes? And her response was, okay, well, you can do it, but it's a lifestyle change. It's like, okay. So basically she's running a commiserating group for people that want to stay diabetic. Basically, that's what it is. So if you're going to argue the fact that you can't reverse diabetes, you're choosing to stay diabetic. You don't have to have type 2 diabetes. And once you know the truth, you are making a choice. And I work to educate you so then you can make an educated choice. You can stay living the life. I've been there. It's miserable. It's painful. It's painful in the way that you never feel good. You don't have energy. You have other diseases. You are going to age poorly. You're going to hurt. Your body aches and pains, brain fog. So you can have that choice, or you can start learning and understand the truth. And so first of all, I want to touch on the statistics. These statistics pain me so much because we don't have to have diabetes. So over 37 million Americans, as of the estimates of 2024, the CDC estimates, over 37 million Americans have diabetes, about 1 in 10 people. 90 to 95% of that have type 2 diabetes. And so we know that type 1 is not reversible, but we also do know type 1 diabetics can live better eating a healthier diet. So they should be eating the way that I teach as well. We're not going to reverse their disease, but we are going to help them live a better, longer life. So, and then 96 million adults in the United States have prediabetes. 77 million of them may not know it. So walking around with a disease, prediabetes is dangerous. I didn't take it as seriously as I should have. And I'll get to my story in a little bit. But prediabetes is also very dangerous because there is a lot going on with your organs in the background when your body is not functioning properly. And so I've got a lot of information here for you today. And I appreciate you joining in with me. So food over fads. We're going to talk about using real nutrition to lower A1C naturally. Nutrition is the only answer, the only thing that really works. So have you ever been promised that a pill, powder, or detox tea can lower your A1C? And if you have, or even you're on a medication, let's unpack that. The medications, I see these medications all over the TV every night. I pay way more attention to them now that I teach this full time. And they all promise that they'll bring your A1C into the 7s, and that's keeping you diabetic. That's by design. I don't want to keep you diabetic. I want to bring you into the low 5s. I want to reverse it. It can be reversed. So lowering A1C is absolutely possible, but it doesn't come from supplements, gimmicks, or quick fixes. It comes from food, from healing the body. So food caused it, food can fix it. So we need to be using whole, nutrient-rich foods to manage blood sugar sustainably. And I don't even like the word manage. Manage is what doctors do to you with medication. I want to optimize your health. I want you to be as healthy as possible and continue getting healthy as you age. You don't hit an age and all of a sudden start going backwards when you, if you continue to eat well. And I thought for a while, like as my health was improving, I thought at age 55, I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to get, a couple more years out of this, and then I'm going to be old. And it's just, I'm just going to go back to feeling the way I felt at 49 before I reversed the 5 diseases I had. At 60, I keep getting healthier, keep feeling better. I don't know when it's going to end. I'm never going to stop trying to be well. So I'm at least going to give myself that advantage. So what is A1C? So before we dive into the food side of things, let's quickly talk about what A1C actually is and why it matters so much. So hemoglobin A1C, often just called A1C, is a blood test that reflects your average blood sugar levels over the past 2 to 3 months. That being said, you can throw off your blood sugar eating poorly a couple days before you have blood work. So there's really a lot more to this whole picture than we're told, and that I can tell you in the time I'm talking to you tonight. But I do teach extensively on it. So it's different from a daily glucose check. Instead of giving you a single snapshot, it shows the bigger picture, kind of like a 90-day report card or how well your blood sugar is being managed. That word I don't like. So what's the goal? For most people with diabetes or prediabetes, the target is below 7%. That's what doctors want. That's medically. And my clients get their A1C in the low 5s with nutrition, myself included. I was 8.3 when I was diabetic, and I am in the low 5s. I don't even show as pre-diabetic anymore. So for those without diabetes, an ideal A1C is generally under 5.7. So why is this number so important? Because when A1C is elevated, it means your blood sugar has been running too high for too long. And over time, that excess sugar starts damaging blood vessels and nerves all over your body. And what happens when we have nerve damage? So nerve damage, also known as neuropathy, which I'm seeing clients reverse. You can do this with nutrition. And kidney failure, leading cause of dialysis in the US. Heart disease and stroke, vision loss, and blindness. Limb loss, we didn't even mention limb loss. And none of this has to happen. That's what, it hurts my heart. It pains me because none of this has to happen. So it's not just about numbers, it's about protecting your organs, your independence, and your quality of life. The good news, A1C is changeable and not with pills alone. Pills really aren't the secret sauce. Real food choices every day can make a powerful difference, and that's what we're here to focus on today. So why supplements and gimmicks don't work long term? So we're going to talk about something that's everywhere, supplements, powders, gimmicks that promise to lower your blood sugar or reset your A1C. Here's the truth. Most of these products simply don't deliver lasting results. Why? First, most supplements aren't FDA regulated. That means no, and please, when I say that, I don't trust the FDA. But things still have to be FDA regulated. So that means no guarantee of safety, purity, or even that they contain what the label claims. You could be spending your money on something ineffective or worse, potentially harmful. That's why Tim and I started ShowFit Nutrition supplement line, because when we learned 5 years ago that 96% of the supplements on the market are not what they claim, we decided we wanted to be able to provide our clients with quality supplements, and we wanted to have quality supplements. And so our supplements do rank in the top 4% in all supplements in quality. And that really does matter. So, and just look at popular options like berberine, cinnamon capsules, detox teas, and blood sugar powders. Some of these show small benefits in lab studies, but in the real world, the effects are modest at best and wildly inconsistent. And they often work only when paired with the very lifestyle changes people are trying to avoid. So did you hear that? They work with lifestyle changes. That's what I help you do, change your lifestyle. We change how we eat, okay? So why not just try the lifestyle change and stop wasting money on the quick fixes that don't work, or give you 10% of the benefit they claim? So the bigger issue is this: supplements treat the symptoms, not the root cause. They're putting a Band-Aid on it. They don't fix insulin resistance. They don't improve your diet. They don't get you moving more. And they don't rebuild the long-term habits that actually lower A1C and protect your health. So if we really want to reverse high blood sugar, we have to go deeper than powders and pills. We have to go back to the basics: real food, movement, and sustainable daily choices. And that's where the real power lies, not in a bottle, but on your plate. And so now we're going to talk about the keto craze for diabetes and the dangers of not understanding the truth. So we have so many doctors on and off social media pushing keto. I have clients come to me wondering why a year later their A1C has gone from the 7s to the 9s, doing exactly what their doctor said. And then I'll ask them, what does your doctor have you doing? Well, he's got me doing high protein and high fat, and it's the wrong proteins and it's the wrong fats. And it's too much protein and too much fat for a diabetic. And so doctors love keto because it makes them look good. You can lose weight and they look like heroes. And then when you end up with chronic kidney disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or higher A1C, they blame it on your heredity or your age, and they medicate you. It is win-win for them and lose for you. So they're also claiming that there is newer research claiming keto helps fight diseases when there have been no long-term double-blind studies proving it. None. So often companies have on-staff researchers that will skew things to exactly how they want the results to come out. And we also know very well that many big-name colleges are being paid for skewed data in the name of profit for big food and big pharma. And so we have to be very careful where our information comes from. And that's why I am a consummate researcher. So we don't have to buy into the lies. I'm going to explain, and I have all the citations on my blog for the following information. So I wrote this article about why keto doesn't work for diabetes a couple years ago. It is on my ShowFit blog. So many ketogenic diets claim to be diabetic-safe and even capable of reversing diabetes. But when we look at what's really going on inside the body, the story is different. What's happening is that the symptoms of diabetes, high blood sugar, is being mistaken for the actual disease, which is carbohydrate intolerance. In type 2 diabetes, the body has trouble handling carbohydrates. This problem shows up as high blood sugar. If you switch to eating mostly fat, as in a ketogenic diet, your blood sugar will stay low, but the root issue isn't fixed. In fact, it's getting worse. We've known for almost 100 years that when people follow a ketogenic diet, their ability to tolerate carbohydrates can actually get worse in just 2 days' time. One study showed that after just 1 week, on a high-fat 80% diet, people's blood sugar spikes quintupled when given the same amount of carbohydrates compared to those on a low-fat diet. Even a single high-fat meal, especially one high in saturated fat, can reduce insulin sensitivity and worsen carbohydrate intolerance within hours. So type 2 diabetes can be reversed with enough weight loss, whether that comes from healthy means or extreme ones like starvation or illness. But remember, we're not trying to lose weight to buy a smaller casket. We want to focus on our health, and a healthy body naturally drops weight easily, as it also heals all the systems in the body. So just because blood sugar looks better on a keto diet doesn't mean diabetes is truly healed. It may just be covering up the symptoms while the disease worsens underneath. Many keto advocates point to the fact that they can take people with type 2 diabetes off insulin while on the diet. But this doesn't mean the diabetes is gone. It means the person isn't eating the carbs their body can't handle. So here's the real test. Any diabetic can maintain normal blood sugar by eating only fat, like a stick of butter. But only a truly healed diabetic can eat a banana and still have normal blood sugar. That's true reversal. That is always my question to someone that wants to debate the keto argument with me, but it reversed my diabetes. And I say, what happens when you eat a banana? And well, I can't eat a banana. Then your diabetes isn't reversed. I can eat a banana. My diabetes is reversed. So people have reversed diabetes in a matter of weeks, often with minimal weight loss, simply by switching to a healing plant-rich diet. A diet based on whole natural foods, not processed low-carb substitutions, can restore insulin sensitivity and normalize blood sugar. So this type of diet often includes more than 300 grams of carbohydrates per day. People are freaked out when I tell them I eat between 250 and 350 grams of healthy carbohydrates a day. Absolutely, the people that I say they have keto brain, they absolutely freak out when I tell them that. And which is almost the opposite of a ketogenic approach, but it works because it's healing the gut and healing the body and giving the organs and the body food it recognizes and understands what to do with. So people on this kind of diet not only reverse diabetes, but often report, having more energy, better digestion, and feeling like they're aging in reverse. That is how I feel. Because they are getting the nutrients needed to age well, heal the gut, keep the brain young, and increase energy. And none of that happens on a ketogenic diet. So meanwhile, ketogenic diets carry their own risks. One of the byproducts your body makes on keto is acetone, the same chemical found in nail polish remover. This leads to the infamous rotten apple breath or keto breath and even failed breathalyzer tests. But there's a deeper concern. Acetone can oxidize in the blood into a compound called acetal, which may turn into methylglyoxal, a highly reactive substance linked to diabetes complications. Shockingly, studies have found that even non-diabetic people on a keto diet can have methylglyoxal levels as high as those with uncontrolled diabetes, a known risk factor for heart disease. So the irony is this: using a ketogenic diet to treat diabetes may not only worsen the root disease, carbohydrate intolerance, but also mimic some of diabetes' most dangerous long-term effects. And so if you don't know my story, I believe I was diagnosed pre-diabetic at 42, and then 49 is when I became diabetic, doing what I was always taught and what my doctor told me to do. And then went down this, researched down this rabbit hole, wrote the program that I teach today. And not only do I not show as diabetic, I don't even show as pre-diabetic. Now that doesn't mean I go back to eating poorly. I am on a mission every day to fuel my body for wellness. I am the guinea pig for ShowFit. As long as it is healthy, then I am consuming it and I am doing it and I'm trying it so I can teach it. And thus far, I keep seeing better and better results. So I had an A1C of 8.3 11 years ago. And I have many clients that have come off insulin in weeks and completely been taken off their diabetic medication in only a couple of months to 6 months. And many of these, we have a third generation insulin diabetic off medication in weeks, off insulin. And so she was always told, you know, third generation, you're diabetic like this generation, and you are going to be on insulin. She started working with me and in weeks came off of it. I actually just recently interviewed Stephanie on my YouTube. 2 weeks ago, a new client wrote to tell me that the first week of eating with me, he didn't need to use insulin because his numbers were so good every day. First week. So that's the power of real food that heals and knowing how to put your recipes together. So the real solution, whole foods that lower A1C. So if supplements and gimmicks aren't the answer, what is? The real lasting solution is found where it always has been, on your plate. Whole foods, especially plant-based ones, have the power to help reverse insulin resistance, improve blood sugar control, and lower A1C over time. So let's break this down into some different categories. So high fiber foods. Fiber is like nature's blood sugar buffer. It slows down glucose absorption, flattens out insulin spikes, and supports gut health, all of which help lower A1C. So examples of high fiber, a lot of foods that they don't allow you to eat on these fad diets: lentils, black beans, chia seeds, steel-cut oats, vegetables, and berries. And so a study published in Diabetes Care found that increasing fiber intake to 30 grams per day helped reduce A1C by up to 1%. And that's comparable to some medications. I'm seeing a better increase than that. So I don't know what they had people eating in that research, but what I'm teaching people to eat, we are seeing better results than that. And so add a fiber-rich food to every meal. Think beans in a salad, chia in your smoothie, or berries on your oats. And that will definitely help. So we're going to talk about the glycemic index and the glycemic load. They get confused often. And I've had new people join my program oftentimes after they come from a ketogenic world. And one of the foods they will absolutely freak out, they will see is in the first week of our breakfast, is pineapple. Marcy, I can't eat pineapple because it's going to spike my insulin and it's going to this. I'm like, no, I promise you it's not. It's going to heal your body. And here's the thing, the glycemic index and the glycemic load are two different things. And so they're coming from a world where they're told the glycemic index is everything. This tells you how little your nutritionist, dietitian, doctor, or coach know if they rely on the glycemic index and not the glycemic load. So let me break that down for you. And so the glycemic index, GI, and glycemic load, GL, are related but quite different in what they tell you. Understanding the difference helps you make smarter food choices, especially if you're managing blood sugar, weight, or metabolic health. So glycemic index is how fast the sugar hits your blood. So think of it like this. GI tells you how quickly a food turns into sugar in your blood. It's like rating how fast a car goes from 0 to 60. Fast rise equals high GI. Slow rise equals low GI. So for example, white bread has a high GI. It turns to sugar fast. Lentils have a low GI. They release sugar slowly. But GI only tells part of the story. Then we get to the glycemic load, the GL. How much sugar actually hits your blood? How much sugar are you going to utilize from that food? So now imagine you're not just looking at how fast the car goes, but how far it drives as well. That's what GL tells you. It combines how fast the food raises your blood sugar, the GI, with how much carbohydrate is actually in the portion you're eating. And this also can be affected by, are you eating proteins and good fats with it? Okay. So carrots have a high GI, but very little sugar. So eating a normal portion of carrots doesn't add much sugar to your blood. So the glycemic load is low. Now compare that to white rice. It has both a high GI and a lot of carbs per serving. That gives it a high GL. More sugar ends up in your blood. And what do they push on us for all, every weight loss coach I see? Chicken, white rice, and broccoli. And white rice is not on my plan. So Why this matters. If you're trying to control blood sugar for diabetes or for weight, avoid energy crashes or eat smarter than glycemic load, which most coaches are unaware of. I say coaches meaning anybody who would help you, whether it's a doctor, nutritionist, dietitian, or coach. So then glycemic load, GL, is the better number to pay attention to because it tells you the real life impact of the food you actually eat. So the simple rule of thumb, GI, how fast the sugar hits, GL, how much sugar hits, GL gives you the full picture. So why glycemic load matters more? Realistic eating. GL tells you how a normal portion size will affect your blood sugar, not an artificially large one like 50 grams of carbs from carrots. So better predictor of blood sugar response. Foods like watermelon have a high GI, 72. I've had many people, I'm asked that a lot because who doesn't love watermelon? They're like, can I eat watermelon on this? And when I say yes, they are so happy because for years, maybe they have avoided watermelon. And why can we eat it? The glycemic load is only 4. That's very low. So the index is 72, but the load, because of the fiber and the water content, is only 4. So the GI might seem scary, but the actual impact on your body is mild. So improved dietary planning. GL helps you avoid unnecessary food restrictions. An example, skipping carrots or watermelon. The diet that my doctor had me on for my prediabetes, which turned into diabetes, he had me on the South Beach diet. And so many high glycemic index foods were taken away from me. Peas, corn, carrots, lots of fruit. It was so freeing to me when I wrote this program 11 years ago and realized we need every fruit and vegetable to heal the body. It all has a place. And we need them if we want to age well. So choose low impact foods that keep your blood sugar stable. And so that's how the load helps you. You want the impact of the load, not the index. Understand how much of a food you can have, not just whether it's bad. So here's some example comparisons. Carrots have a glycemic index of 71 and a glycemic load of 4. Watermelon, 72 and a load of 4. Lentils, 32 and a load of 6. Pineapple, which people freak out on me, it's the one thing that seems to come up more often than anything. It has a glycemic index of 59 to 66, depending on ripeness, but the load is 6 to 8. You can have pineapple and reverse diabetes. So the bottom line, GI equals how fast, GL, how much impact. So for real life eating and metabolic health, glycemic load is the more practical, meaningful measure. And so now let's talk about plant-based proteins. We often, myself included, I will talk about protein and my brain just goes to animal protein. But we can get quality proteins from plants, beans, lentils. There are proteins in greens, lots of ways to get proteins. But this doesn't mean you can't have meat. So plant proteins provide stable energy, reduce inflammation, and don't come with the saturated fat of many animal proteins. They not only don't tax your kidneys and liver, they help the organs heal. So some examples, tofu, tempeh, beans, lentils, nuts. And research has shown that a plant-based diet can lower A1C more effectively than the traditional American Diabetes Association diet. And that's truthfully not surprising because the traditional American Diabetes Association diet, you can go to their website and print a diet. I wouldn't let my dog eat it. I look at it and just shake my head. What people don't understand is a lot of the big food companies are writing huge checks to still have their foods put on these diet plans that are with the American Diabetes Association, with the American Heart Association, with the American Cancer Association. They still are taking payoffs from Pepsi, Coke, Cadbury, lots of big companies to be able to keep junk food on their nutrition plan. So we have to be aware of that. And so you need to understand plant-based. I have had people come to me that have been eating plant-based and are obese because they didn't understand what to do. So first of all, plant-based is not vegan or vegetarian. Plant-based, you can still consume meat. And you are eating, it's more of a quality of food. And so swap out 1 or 2 meat-based meals a week with a bean-based bowl or tofu stir fry. It's good for your blood sugar and good for your heart. And then let's talk about fats. We need healthy fats. Good fats can help stabilize blood sugar, reduce insulin resistance, and keep you feeling full longer, besides the fact that they are your brain food. Examples: avocados, extra virgin olive oil, walnuts, ground flax seeds. Very, very good for us. All of those items I just listed do so many things to improve our health. And so a handful of walnuts, a drizzle of olive oil, or a slice of avocado goes a long way. Just don't overdo it, as fats are calorie dense. And when you're eating a nutrient dense diet, you also don't have to count calories. I eat to my fill. I am a gluttonous eater, so I love the way that I can eat because I like to feel full, and I don't have to count calories. Foods rich in polyphenols. So polyphenols are powerful plant compounds that we're going to miss if we're not getting 30 plants a week in our nutrition. And so with an anti-inflammatory and blood sugar, they have anti-inflammatory and blood sugar regulating effects. They are important. So examples: blueberries, green tea, turmeric, cinnamon as a spice, not as a capsule. These foods have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce oxidative stress. That is something keto does not do, is reduce oxidative stress. We need plants to do that. So season generously, easy for me to say, with spices like cinnamon and turmeric, and enjoy a cup of green tea or a berry smoothie as a smart swap for sugary snacks. So the bottom line, there's no secret supplement or miracle fix, but there is a real solution: food. Food made you sick, food can make you well. You just have to know what you're doing. So whole, colorful, fiber-rich food. When you focus on what you put on your plate and not what's in a bottle, you give your body the tools it needs to heal, regulate blood sugar, and lower A1C naturally. And best of all, these foods don't come with side effects, just side benefits. So thank you for watching. I'm glad you were here. I'll open up my Facebook and see if there were any comments, because as I've got my phone here filming and my computer here with my notes in front of me, so I haven't been watching. I do apologize for that. I'll check now. Happy to answer any questions. This video will stay up. You can comment below and ask me anything. Please subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Follow me, reach out to me, and share this with a friend that may enjoy hearing this. Remember, we don't have to have type 2 diabetes. It's food created. And it's a choice. You're making a choice to stay sick. So if you're struggling with this, have been trying to figure it out on your own, please schedule a free health strategy session with me. I have many options now to get you started on a healing journey, including the ability to resell my program as an affiliate. And we started doing that for people that would come to me and maybe they couldn't afford the program, but if they can bring a couple friends on, they can pay for their own program. And so do ask me about that. And if you would like my pre-diabetes risk quiz or my diabetes symptom tracker, send me a direct message and I would be happy to send those PDFs to you. And so we've got, let's see, Julie says it's all about eating the right carbs once your gut is right. And so yes, we eat to heal the gut. And then we know how to continue to eat the right food to continue to keep us on a healing journey. And Julie also says, now that I got the crap out of my diet, I can eat so much fruit. I eat a few every day now. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I probably eat, I don't count it because I'm not concerned about it. I know there's days I'll have 7 to 9 servings of fruit. So a serving of fruit is about a half cup. And so I know often, especially in the summer, I will have that many servings of fruit. I come out of the gate in the morning with about 1.5 cups of fruit in my created cereal. There's no such thing as a healthy box of cereal. So don't buy into the labels and all the lies. You really need to be creating your own bowl of cereal. So if we don't have any questions, I will excuse myself, and please reach out to me if you would like any more information. I really have a passion for helping you heal your body. It hurts me when I see people make posts about not feeling well, but then it gets to a point where if you're not trying to fix it, who really even wants to see you complain? Right? So we don't have to feel as terrible as we've been led to believe, because age is not the culprit. So Kathy says there was a question on hearts of palm. I didn't see the question, but you can have it. I'll see all the questions when I turn this off, and then I'll go back and answer underneath them. Okay? So thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time. Easy for me to say, trip over my lips a lot. And I will be back next Thursday with another health topic. So hope to see you here, and tell your friends to follow me, and they can learn from me. They can reach out to me and get on my mailing list. We send out, starting next week, 3 times a week, we will have emails go out. One day it will be education, another day will be a workout, and another day will be a recipe. So if you're not on my email list, please get on that as well. You can direct message me your email. So have a great night. Be blessed. Thank you for being here.